On the news, Ekiti government confirms abduction of pupils and teachers, vows swift rescue. Federal government inaugurates 37-man national minimum wage committee. And Nigeria moves 5 places up to 145 in Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Simisola Adigun. We begin with the sad news coming from Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria, where the state government has confirmed the abduction of students, teachers, and a driver at the Emure Ekiti area of the state. 6 students, 3 teachers and the bus driver of a private school were kidnapped by gunmen while they were making their way back from Emure Ekiti. The state government has called for calm, vowing to carry a swift rescue operation to ensure the safe return of the abducted children and teachers. Governor Biodun Oyebanji described the kidnap as callous and unacceptable, saying nothing would be spared in the effort to rescue the victims. The spate of recent kidnappings in the country has reached a worrying level. Between December 2023 and January 2024, over 380 individuals have fallen victims of kidnapping incidents across Nigeria. Security expert Salin Hashim now joins me to discuss this recurrent situation in the country. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Hashim. Now, this is the first reported abduction involving school children in Nigeria this year. Do you see this trend returning, and how can this be stopped?
I think the serious and organized crime that is going on across the country has become quite audacious, and the audacity that is coming with it has actually demonstrated very clearly that once government is not deliberate and acting to provide school safety measures and the infrastructure that comes with it, that we will continue to witness this sort of situation. Remember that just between 2018 and 2020, over 618 schools across the north were actually shot as a result of multiple and multi-layered abduction of school children, and then of course forcefully closed because of the weak security measures provided for schools. And of course, we know too well that we also had a presidential committee on school safety that was actually launched. It was a public-private sector initiative that the then president put in place. But unfortunately, the amount of money, close to about $1 billion US dollars, if I am correct, over $1 million US dollars was actually pulled together by private sector operators to be able to support government in terms of responding and managing the threats that comes into affecting children. But unfortunately, ever since, it has been rhetoric and various conference room meetings, and nothing practical is on the field to be able to provide that guidance. And that, for me, is actually unfortunate.
Now, so much has been said about community policing, but we still don't have it yet. Do you think it will make any difference in the fight against insecurity?
It's about the efficiency of our community policing infrastructure. Currently, a number of states operate community policing in their various means. For instance, in the Southwest, we have the Amotekun, which is also the concept of community policing. And then we have the Hisba in the North. We have the Beagu. We have quite a number of community policing initiatives controlled by state government. But again, it is about how crime has come to become very industrial, and the rate at which the audacious implementation of them have become quite enormous. And secondly, is actually the weak capacity of our formal security institutions to respond. It's not about early warning, it's about early response. The response rate has been very weak, and it has been quite disappointing. And I think it is very important that all security chiefs, including the Inspector General of Police, should actually wake up to ensuring that what exactly do we need to do differently in terms of our response rate. The rate at which we respond to manage and curtail and rescue is actually very slow. And of course, those guys who actually perpetrate this, they know the pattern and they want to always exploit those weak avenues. What do we need to do differently? One is to strengthen intelligence. Two is to introduce technology in our policing. We must find technology in that particular regard. Three is about strategic communication. What do we need to strengthen in terms of communication infrastructure that allows for response mechanism to be able to curtail and create a suffocation for those who are indeed perpetrators of this. But unfortunately, we seemingly don't have all of this triangular infrastructure available, and it offers a very quick access road for those who want to get away with criminality. For me, there must be a new template. The existing template is failed, the existing template is not working, and there's something we might have to do differently to be able to restore confidence in our security architecture.
Our security expert Salin Hashim, thank you very much for your insights. Moving on, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has paid a condolence visit to the Al-Qadriya family, whose 6 daughters were abducted on January 2 this year. During the visit to the family on Tuesday, Obi expressed concerns over the rate of kidnappings in the country and urged the government to curb insecurity. 19 abductees were taken away by bandits from the Sagwari estate layout in Dutsen Alhaji area of Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory earlier in January. The kidnappers killed 4 of the hostages, including Nabiha Al-Qadriya, a 400-level student of biological science at Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, and 13-year-old Folashade Ario.
Came to first have opportunity of condoling the family and then seeing the young ones that are still in hospital. Well, it's for all of us to sacrifice everything possible to see that this criminality is contained. It's not beginning to affect everybody. Can you imagine what it is for a father to lose her young daughter? Not just her, imagine Folashade's family as well. 13 years old. So just imagine the trauma. Imagine what they're going through. So for me, we should do everything possible to ensure that this is contained and stopped. The security agencies and all of us are the same. We just have to, government and the people must work hard to stop this. That's where I am. It's a very sad situation. I don't even know how to start commenting because this is happening every day. I opened newspapers in this morning. Is that our traditional rulers are kidnapped and killed in Ekiti. This one is happening in Anambra. This one is happening all over the place. We can't continue this way.
As part of efforts to combat violent crimes across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), the federal government and the American government have signed a memorandum of understanding for the training of the commanders of the Police Special Intervention Squad to tackle banditry and other raging crimes in the country. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, inaugurated the training program in Abuja in partnership with the United States Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. Speaking during the inauguration held at the Peacekeeping Hall, Force Headquarters, Abuja, on Monday, the IGP says the program was designed to prepare the trainees for the challenges associated with their new responsibility of taking up the lead positions in combating the scourge of kidnapping, banditry, armed robbery and terrorism, amongst others.
The squad was primarily established for the purpose of confronting every situation that threatens the peace of the citizenry and restore law and order across the nation. The initiative is pivotal to safeguarding the lives and properties of all Nigerians while guaranteeing the supremacy of the state and the rule of law, thus protecting the integrity of our nation. With the conception of the SIS, mobilization of officers and men, it is only logical that the men be given specialized training to enable them imbibe new skills and orientation, which will adequately prepare them for the task ahead. Operatives of the squad have since commenced intensive operations, reinvigorating the offensive against criminal elements by taking the battle to their hideouts.
And that is why the U.S. government wants to support the Nigeria Police and the SIS. The vision and mission the Nigeria Police Force has through the SIS is crucial to Nigeria. And as your partner, we want to help support that. We want to help you achieve the goals and aims of the Nigeria Police Force and the SIS to protect the people of Nigeria, to improve the economy, to protect the rights and freedoms of the people living here.
Nigeria has recorded an improved ranking in the Corruption Perception Index (CPI) released on Tuesday by Transparency International, moving 5 places to rank 145 out of 180 countries assessed. Apart from moving 5 places up from its 150th position, the country also gained 1 point added to its previous 24, ending up scoring 25 out of the 100 maximum point in the 2023 CPI results. However, reports by Transparency International indicate that Nigeria's score is below the sub-Saharan African average of 33 points. Speaking further on the report, the Executive Director, CISLAC, and Head of Transparency International Nigeria, Awal Rafsanjani, says although the ranking shows an improvement in the perception of corruption in Nigeria, the index does not show specific incidences of corruption in the country.
The score we had, which was 24 last year, this year we have, in this year for the Corruption Perception Index, we have 25. Meaning there's a shift of 1 point. Other countries in sub-Saharan Africa have also moved, but in all of the sub-Saharan countries in Africa, unfortunately, none of the countries score more than even 33, which means that more effort needs to be done to curtail public sector corruption. So what happened here is that there are a number of things that the Nigerian government has done last year that created this opportunity. One of it, of course, is the beneficial ownership register that we have, which is going to help to ensure that people who hide under company identity, who are public official, giving themselves contracts and also running away or giving themselves tax holiday, there will be none. Secondly, the effort by anti-corruption agencies in terms of assets recovery, in terms of arrest of some high-profile people, also created this impression.
A new national minimum wage is underway in Nigeria as the federal government has inaugurated a 37-member tripartite committee to begin work on the process membership of the committee, which cuts across the federal government, state government, private sector, and labor unions. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who inaugurated the committee at the council chamber of the presidential Villa Abuja, says the decision is in recognition of the need to ensure a decent living wage and in compliance with the existing National Minimum Wage Act of 2019. He charged the committee to ensure the timely submission of its recommendations.
This gathering stems from the deliberations of one of the technical committees, which included representatives from both government and the organized labor. We have identified the need for the review of the national minimum wage and to consider a minimum wage level that can alleviate the sufferings of the people. It gladdens my heart that the recommendation is being acted upon today, and we can all acknowledge that this is in line with our democratic process and adherence to the rule of law. The issue of a national minimum wage for the Federation falls within the exclusive legislative list of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Therefore, our objective should be to support the basic social protection flow for all Nigerian workers considering the sustainable payment capacity of each tier of government and other employers or businesses. I express this viewpoint because the minimum wage represents the least amount of compensation an employee should receive for their labor, and as such, it should be rooted in social justice and equity. The President has directed the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy to allocate essential funds and logistics to this esteemed committee, facilitating the timely completion of this assigned task. I hereby inaugurate the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage and extend my best wishes for fruitful deliberations.
Tuesday's inauguration follows months of agitation from labor unions who have for long expressed concerns over the government's failure to inaugurate the new National Minimum Wage Committee as promised during negotiations last October. Chairing the panel, former head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Buka Aji, affirmed that the members would come up with a fair, practical, implementable and sustainable minimum wage.
The Minimum Wage Act of 2019 empowers this tripartite committee, composed of representatives of government, organized labor and employers, to engage in an open and constructive dialogue to arrive at a fair and sustainable minimum wage. This process is not merely about numbers, it is about recognizing the dignity of work, ensuring that all Nigerians have the opportunity to earn a living wage that allows them to meet their basic needs and participate meaningfully and purposely in our society.
We shall, by the grace of God, Your Excellency, make some extensive consultations with broad spectrum of stakeholders to be able to arrive at a new national minimum wage that is fair, practical, implementable, and sustainable for the good of our people and our country.
We'll take a break here, but still to come. CBN clears airlines forex backlog with additional $64.44 million payment. Details when we return. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Ekiti State Government has confirmed the abduction of students, teachers and a driver in the Emure-Ekiti area of the state, but vows to ensure the victims are rescued. 6 students, 3 teachers and the bus driver of a private school were kidnapped by gunmen while they were making their way back from Emure-Ekiti. However, the Ekiti State Government has urged people to be hopeful as security has been increased to save them. We also told you that the federal government has inaugurated the 37-man tripartite committee to recommend a new national minimum wage for the country. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who inaugurated the committee at the council chamber of the presidential Villa Abuja, says the decision is a recognition of the need to ensure a decent living wage and in compliance with the existing National Minimum Wage Act of 2019, which will expire in a few months. He charged them to ensure the timely submission of their recommendations. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Well, it's time for business news. Opeyemi Owosheni joins us. Over to you, Opeyemi.
Thank you, Simisola. Welcome to Business News. As part of fulfillment of its pledge to clear the backlog of foreign exchange owed foreign airlines in the country, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has concluded the payment of all verified claims with an additional $64.44 million to the affected airlines. The CBN had earlier paid $2 billion to clear a part of its backlog of matured foreign exchange obligations to deposit money banks in the country. While confirming the development in a statement on Tuesday, the Acting Director of Corporate Communication of the CBN, Akama Sidi Ali, says the latest amount paid to the airlines brought the total verified amount paid to the sector to $136.73 million. She also assures that the CBN was working with stakeholders to ensure liquidity improves within the forex market, thereby reducing pressure on the naira. Still on business, Lagos has continued to receive visitors on its waterways as the state welcomed the first and largest liquefied natural gas LNG-powered container vessel, which berthed at the Lekki Freeport Terminal, Lagos Free Zone, Ibeju, Lekki on Monday. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who welcomed the CMA CGM Scandola vessel, described the berthing as a major feat in the Nigerian maritime industry and other achievements since the commissioning of the port. The vessel, which ranks among the largest vessels to be calling in West Africa, will continue its voyage and sail to Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, after departing Nigeria.
Lekki Freeport Terminal is receiving the biggest container terminal in the world at its premises. I think it's a big feat. It's something that we truly really need to roll out drums and be proud of, because what that is about indeed, we're putting the Lekki Freeport, we're putting Lagos, we're putting Nigeria into the world's global logistics marine business. This is, a business that has been a privilege to a few countries, developed countries in America, in Europe, in Far East, in some part of Africa as well. But now, given the size of the vessels that we can receive, given the size of the business that can come to our community, the Lekki Freeport and the Lekki port itself has put and enshrined, our name as one of the big movers of port transactions in the world.
The integrated development model of investment, construction, and operation has been successfully practiced in Nigeria, playing a crucial role in promoting Lagos as a global shipping center and connecting Nigeria with the world. The successful docking of the large cargo ship marks a new milestone in the cargo turnover of Lekki Port, and its future development is even more promising.
We'll go on a break and be back with stock market report. The Nigerian equities market went south on the second day of trading, reducing by 1.49%, with the market cap at 56.43 trillion naira. The market breadth also ended on a negative note, with 7 gainers against 61 losers. NASCON led the laggards with a 10% depreciation, followed closely by Access Holdings. NASCON closed at 68 naira 40 kobo, and Access closed at 25 naira 20 kobo. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange NGX, a total of 648 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 14,579 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 11 billion were traded. Now, compared with the previous NGX trading day, Monday, January 29th, today's data shows 6% decline in volume, 57% decline in turnover, and 8% decline in deals. Now, A move now to our select global stock reverses the case for our select global stock as only the US Dow Jones recorded a bearish trade closing at 0.069%, leaving the UK FTSE and Japan's Nikkei in the bullish trade at 0.48% and 0.11%. Well, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simisola, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okwayemi. Now, in what seems like the first sign of cooperation between the United States and China, both countries have launched a joint anti-narcotics group to curb the production and trade of the highly addictive opioid fentanyl. The talks began on Tuesday after a U.S. delegation led by Deputy Homeland Security Advisor Jane Daskal arrived in Beijing for the first joint meeting. At a summit in November, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden agreed to do more to cooperate on tackling companies that manufacture the precursor chemicals to make fentanyl and on cutting financing for the trade. The working group is seen as a positive development amid a deterioration in relations between the two countries over issues including human rights, trade tariffs, COVID-19, and Taiwan. And in sports, the Super Eagles head coach Jose Pizarro has said he is looking forward to a difficult duel against Angola when they battle for a place in the semi-final at the ongoing 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON on Friday. Pizarro says that with more trainings and practice, his players must be at their best to get a win in the game. The encounter is slated for the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium, Abidjan. Well, that's all in our bulletin. Thank you for watching. See you again next time.